a buttery honey-sweet cornbread that will have you rethinking every other cornbread recipe that you have ever tried. It still has a classic, delicious, buttery honey-sweet flavor, but the texture will blow your mind.
Whoa, Sally. Woo. That girl in the kitchen. Whoa, Sally. Woo. That girl in the kitchen. Whoa, Sally. Woo. That girl in the kitchen. Whoa, Sally.
Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sally, That Girl in the Kitchen. In today's episode, I'm going to teach you how to make a buttery honey-sweet cornbread. Yes, the most delicious cornbread with a perfect consistency, because it's not going to be northern or southern style. It's going to be somewhere in between, because I'm going to be using fine yellow cornmeal. So sometimes cornbread is made with a coarser cornmeal or a cornmeal that's somewhere in the middle, not quite fine, not quite coarse. But today we're going to use fine yellow cornmeal, because to me, that cornmeal is just really special. It just really reminds me of that cremita de maíz, that almost porridge-like hot corn cereal, porridge for lack of a better word, and it is divine. But we're going to be stepping this up, because by adding lots of butter, honey, sour cream, and buttermilk, we're going to get the best consistency, and it's not going to be a dry cornbread where you're going to have to down iced tea, water, lemonade to wash it down. No, this cornbread is going to have the perfect consistency. It's going to stay together, still have a little bit of a crumble, but it's not going to be dry. It is absolutely divine. And of course, we're going to finish it off by brushing the top with some melted butter and a little extra honey. It's going to create like a little glaze on top. So crazy good. It's so good that you can even make this into croutons. You can toast up some slices after this has been baked and make croutons out of it and add it to your salad. This is good for absolutely everything. So I'm super excited to teach you how to bake it. So let's not wait another second, and let's get started. For today's recipe, you will need 2 sticks, in other words, 16 tablespoons of unsalted butter, melted and slightly cooled, plus more for greasing the pan and 2 more tablespoons separate. 1 cup of honey plus 1 more tablespoon separate. 1 cup of whole milk at room temperature. 1 cup of buttermilk, also at room temperature. 1/4 cup of sour cream at room temperature, and 4 large eggs, also at room temperature. You'll also need 2 cups of fine yellow cornmeal, 2 cups of all-purpose flour, 1 tablespoon of baking powder, 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. You will also need 2 large bowls, a whisk, a small silicone spatula, and a large silicone or wooden spoon, a pastry brush, a fork, a knife, a large fork such as a serving fork, a toothpick or a bamboo skewer, a standard 9 by 13-inch baking dish, some dry measuring cups, some measuring spoons, 3 wet measuring cups, a couple of small bowls, and you'll also need some oven mitts. So now that we have all of our ingredients and tools together, let's get started. So the first thing you're going to want to do is make sure to remove from the refrigerator whatever ingredients need to be at room temperature. I recommend you measuring them out and then just letting them sit on your counter for a bit so they become room temperature. Then you'll want to preheat your oven to 350 degrees, making sure you have a rack placed in the center. Now grab your 9 by 13-inch baking dish, and what I like to do is I like to use the butter stick, the one that I removed 2 tablespoons of butter from. I just go ahead and use that same unsalted butter stick, and I make sure to grease my baking dish really well. You want to make sure to get the sides, the bottom. You just want it nicely coated with a layer of butter, because this is going to help our cornbread not stick, and of course it's going to help infuse our cornbread with that butter as it melts when our cornbread bakes. So this works twofold, and it's super necessary. So make sure you cover the pan really, really well with your butter stick. So now to a large bowl, you're going to add 2 unsalted butter sticks. That's 16 tablespoons. And then you're going to pop this in the microwave because you want to melt this butter. So it's going to take, I want to say, about a minute to a minute and a half, depending, of course, on your microwave. And then you're going to let it cool. So you can let it sit at room temperature or you can pop it in the fridge. Either way, just make sure this cools. So once it cools, it should look something like this. Then you'll proceed. So at this point, you can add your 1 cup of honey. This is honey-sweet cornbread after all. It is sweetened only with honey. There's no sugar whatsoever, just beautiful natural honey to sweeten our delicious buttery honey-sweet cornbread. So once you get all of that in, then you're going to grab your whisk and you're going to whisk together that butter that you have let set and come to room temperature after melting together with the honey that you just added in. And you saw how the milk solids kind of separated from the fat in the butter. That's exactly what you're looking for, which is why you want to let that come to room temperature after you have melted it. And it's going to create this beautiful fluffy mixture between the honey and the butter. Now, once you've mixed that together, then you're going to come in and add 1 cup of room temperature milk, whole milk. And now you're coming in with 1 cup of also room temperature buttermilk. Then you'll add in a 1/4 cup of your room temperature sour cream. It really makes a difference when your ingredients are all at room temperature, so I highly recommend it. And then you're just going to take your whisk and combine these ingredients together. You just want to make sure that sour cream breaks down and the buttermilk gets combined with the milk, and it's just perfect. So now you're going to grab your 4 room temperature large eggs and you're going to beat them well. And then you're going to add this into the mix. Now notice all of the ingredients were at room temperature. We're keeping the temperature consistent, and it's really going to make a difference in the beautiful result we're going to get from our cornbread. This type of cornbread is almost cake-like. It is absolutely divine, and the temperature of the ingredients really play a role. So it's important that we get our ingredients all at room temperature. So now you just use your whisk, combine everything well, and then in another large bowl, you add your 2 cups of fine yellow cornmeal and 2 cups of all-purpose flour. So on top of that, you'll add 1 tablespoon of baking powder, a 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1 teaspoon of salt. So now I like to use my trusty serving fork. Of course, you can use a whisk if you prefer, but if you've watched my videos before, I absolutely just love using my serving fork to incorporate ingredients. Just works perfectly. And notice that I'm going all the way to the bottom of the bowl and I'm scraping down the sides of the bowl too, because I want to make sure to mix together all of those ingredients, and I want the yellow cornmeal to mix well with the flour, the baking powder, the baking soda, the salt. You want everything very well distributed and very well combined. It should be pale yellow by the time it's all incorporated. Then you're just going to pour it right on top of your wet ingredients. And I like to use a silicone spoon for this. And then what I do is I gently submerge the powder into the wet mixture. So I just ever so gently fold it over. I use the spoon to kind of push that flour mixture into the wet mixture because it's going to want to float on top. Remember, all-purpose flour and fine yellow cornmeal are quite fine, so they tend to float on the top, but just very gently. You don't want to overmix when you're doing this process, so you want to be quite gentle. So the idea is to just gently fold everything in, use the side of your spoon to kind of break things down, and you'll notice you are going to have clumps. That's perfectly normal. What you don't want is very large clumps, which is why I use the side of my spoon to break any large clumps down. But it is totally normal and expected that you will have clumps. You do not want to overmix this batter. The clumps are okay. So then you want to bring the batter over, and using that same spoon, you're just going to pour all of it in to that prepared baking dish that we had greased earlier with butter. And you just want to make sure to get all of that yummy goodness into the pan. You don't want to miss a single drop of it because it is divine, infused with butter and honey and sour cream and buttermilk and milk. Should I go on? It's absolutely divine and smells great already, and we haven't even baked it yet. So then you're just going to use the back of your spoon and just smooth out the top so it's nice and even when it bakes. And now this is pretty much ready to go into your preheated oven. So what you want to do is place it on a center rack, and it's going to take about 58 minutes to cook. So keep an eye on it. You want it golden brown, and you want it set in the center. So after your 58 minutes have passed, it should be looking beautiful, and the smell is insane. It smells like honey and butter and corn. It's so crazy good. So you want to grab either a bamboo skewer or a toothpick and poke it into the center. Make sure it comes out clean and pretty dry, and that's when you know you're set and good to go. So now you're going to let it sit for 15 minutes and just take in that smell and the absolute gorgeous view. I'm telling you, the edges especially, they get golden and crusty and delicious. And when you bite into this, you're never going to want to make your cornbread any other way. There's no dry cornbread here. It's perfection. It's tender and it's still moist but holds together perfectly. So why the 15 minutes? Because then you want to take those 2 tablespoons of unsalted butter, melt them in the microwave, and then once it's melted, you're going to add to that 1 tablespoon of honey, because yes, we're going to prepare that bit of a glaze on top because of course it's infused with honey and butter, but a little extra honey and butter right on top never hurt anyone. Plus it soaks in to the cornbread and it just makes it all the more delicious, all the more special. So crazy good. And the smell is absolutely crazy. I'm just smelling it already. And I haven't even brushed it on between the warm cornbread and the honey butter that I just created. It's so crazy good. So then you're just going to want to grab a pastry brush and you're going to brush this right on all over the top of your buttery honey sweet cornbread to just give it that beautiful glisten and that just extra touch of love and honey and butter, which to me equal love. You're just going to brush that all over the top and it's going to finish it off and it will be perfection. I'm telling you, if you thought you had your favorite cornbread recipe already, this is officially going to be your favorite cornbread recipe. And if you didn't have a cornbread recipe, then aren't you glad you found this one? Because it is that good. This is a keeper. It's absolutely divine. As I said, the perfect texture, smells crazy, crazy good. It's just insanely good. So now on to my favorite part when I get to taste it. So the edges are golden and perfect, as is the top. The texture is perfectly moist and balanced. So good. And that fine yellow cornmeal together with all of those ingredients that keep this tender and perfect. So good. This is a cornbread like you've never tried before. It's not dry at all. It's just complete perfection. It's so good. This is going to be requested all year round. That's how tasty it is. It's almost like eating a cake, but not overly rich. And it's just got that perfect crust on the outside, golden and delicious, and still moist and absolutely yummy. On the inside. So good. I'm going to show you how well it holds together, and that crumb is just perfection. There's no dryness here anywhere. It's fluffy and perfect and delicious. So didn't I tell you this was going to be phenomenal cornbread? Yes, buttery honey sweet cornbread, sweetened with honey, plenty of butter, and the perfect consistency. That buttermilk, that sour cream really makes it perfect. And of course, as I said earlier, the star of the show, the fine yellow cornmeal, makes a perfect texture that's not too dry and just absolutely divine. You're not going to have to down all kinds of drinks to just get your cornmeal down. No, 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 not this cornmeal. This is perfect, retains its moisture, it's still got a little bit of a crumble like you're expecting in a delicious cornbread, toasts up beautifully, but still has a delicious moist texture thanks to those yummy ingredients that have lots of moisture in them, and of course to the fine cornmeal. It is perfection. I know you're going to love it. Trust me. No, better yet, don't trust me. You're going to have to try this recipe yourself. And of course, if you've enjoyed today's recipe, don't forget to like it, to write me a sweet comment, to share it with your friends, or even share it to yourself. Send it to yourself so that you have it, or save it, or send it to yourself through WhatsApp, just so that you have it. Just write cornbread and then send it to yourself in a text message or through WhatsApp. So that way, if you need to refer back to it, you can find it. Or of course, just save it into your own playlist so you have it accessible to watch again when you're ready to make it. It is that good. You're not going to want to miss it. And of course, if you're not already subscribed here on YouTube, stop what you're doing, go over, subscribe, and touch that little notification bell so that you get notified every time I put out a new and delicious recipe like I did today. And there are hundreds out there. So make sure you explore my channel. It's broken down by playlists. You'll be able to find everything fairly organized. So you should find anything you're looking for. And of course, if you don't find what you're looking for, shoot me a little message. I'm open to filming something that I haven't done already. If you're looking for it and need a video tutorial, I'm happy to do so. So definitely shoot me a message, tag me in your photos on Facebook and Instagram, send them to me by Messenger through Facebook and Instagram, and just share the love. I love to see you making my recipes. So definitely be sure to share that with me. And of course, if you're not following me on social media, you can find me as Sally That Girl in the kitchen, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, and Threads. And you can find me as Sally That Girl FL on X, Snapchat, and on TikTok. And of course, I have my Amazon shop. But don't worry, you can find all of that pinned to the banner of my YouTube channel and pinned to the top of my Instagram and Facebook pages. And there's going to be a link tree there that will take you everywhere you need to go. And if you see something in one of my videos that you might need, you'll likely find it in my Amazon shop. So you can definitely check that out, and you'll be able to find everywhere. I have everything always pinned to the top to make it easy for you. So once again, I just want to take a moment to thank you so much for being here. For those who are here time and time again, thank you so much for always being here. And for those of you who are new, thank you so much for joining me today. And I look forward to seeing you next time.
Whoa, Sally, woo, that girl in the kitchen. Whoa, Sally, woo, that girl in the kitchen. Whoa, Sally, woo, that girl in the kitchen. Whoa, Sally.